Hello and welcome back to my channel. I thought I would share something a little fun with you guys today. So I follow Erin at EB Mixed Media, and last summer I saw her make some of these cute little pocket cards that really inspired me to make some of my own. And the idea is that you would give them to like one of your friends or loved ones, maybe in a card, or maybe if they're having a bad day, or maybe just because. And so I made a ton of them last summer, and they were just a lot of fun. Oftentimes when I'm watching TV at night, I will play with my watercolors, and this is one of those things that you can do really easily without having to think, which is part of what makes it so relaxing. But I made like a lot of them, and then I didn't do anything with them. So after I got back into paper crafting, I made this little book. If I can get it in frame here, I made this little book. And since I had a bunch of these cards, I decided to utilize them with this book. So I thought that we could make some together, and then while the watercolors are drying, we can do a flip through of the book and show you how they're used, or how I've used them. So let's get these out of the way. And we'll start just by taking a piece of watercolor paper that's 5 by 7. And I divided it here into 4 quadrants. And got my trusty, I think I showed this before, so my cat likes to try to drink the paint water, and obviously that's not good for him. So I've got these two little, I think they are candle holders. And you don't really need a ton of water. I like to be able to, this is probably getting way too in depth for this video, but I like to be able to touch my brush bristles down at the bottom of my water. I always use one on the left for dirty water and one on the right for clean water. So I always have those up here just on my desk. And we'll use one of my watercolor palettes. This is my Winsor Newton Cotman. It's the first ones that I started out with. And I I commissioned this palette from someone on Etsy. And if you want to know more about them, just let me know and I can put their link in my next video. But I love this palette. I think it's so pretty. I'm going to start by wetting one of these quadrants here, and I just do it kind of roughly, honestly. So I'm gonna wet this because I want my paint to be able to move freely. And I think I even went maybe into the other quadrant, but that's not gonna matter. So let's see, what color do we want to use? Let's use maybe some ultramarine blue. That's a pretty color that'll granulate. We're just going to drop the color in here and kind of roughly go around the corners. And I like whenever it gets kind of uneven. So we'll have a deeper color here. And it's okay if we go outside of the lines there a little bit. It just kind of adds to the character of the cards. So we'll let that dry. Just kind of set it up here. You know what? Let's put another color in with it. Let's drop maybe some turquoise in here. And let that move around too. So we'll let that dry and see what it does. While that's drying, I'm going to take another piece of paper and just do like a little rough vine or flower or something. I always start with a pencil because it's just easier. And these cards, they're not hard. You don't have to be a good artist. I'm certainly not a good artist, but they're just, they're so simple. So we can make just a little vine, or you can make like a little, this is one of my favorite kind of little silly flowers to draw. But we'll start with a vine. So I'm just going to, let's see if I'm in frame here. Just gonna start by making a little line like that and giving ourselves just a, I mean, super rough little vine here. Let's see, that's kind of big, but I think it's gonna work all right. And one thing that you need to know about watercolors are, or when you're using a pencil to draw your illustration, when you put water on it, it's going to then seal that pencil, so you won't be able to erase afterward. So sometimes I'll take like a little kneaded eraser and roll over it. This was not really supposed to be any kind of a tutorial, and I'm certainly not the person to give a tutorial, but I can still see that there. I think you can probably see that too. And then I like to take some kind of, this is like a really unnatural color here. This is Viridian Hue. But I'll just go kind of roughly where I want my paint to be. And I like to go out of the line some because it just kind of adds character. And then like on this one, you can see I went back over it with like some little bit of gold, and we're going to outline in black as well. So that is a super rough little painting there. Let's drop a little bit of something here into it. This is, I want to say, I think it might be Quinn Gold. Might be Camboge Hue. I have my, I'm all over the place. I was gonna say I have my my swatches here. I've really got the resolution crazy on this, but when I make my swatches, I like to take a piece of vellum and then write my write the pigments and the names and stuff on here. And I have like I got a bunch. We'll go through that sometime. I'll do a palette tour. But anyway, we're gonna let this dry, and this is also drying. I think I'm gonna help this along by just taking a bit of paper towel and get off the really wet part there. And this can dry while we're doing a little flip through of this book. So this one's gonna dry really fast. But, so last October, I made this little book, and it's just a lot of fun because when you look at it this way, it is an accordion pocketbook. So I thought this paper was pretty fitting since it actually says pocketbook on it. But it's an accordion pocketbook, and when you turn it this way, it makes a page book. So because I made all these little cards, like a ton of them last summer, I didn't really give them to anyone. I just had them like in a little binder thing that I had. So I decided to put them in this book when I made it. And I went ahead and backed them on scrapbook paper and then just pasted a bunch of them in this book. And it kind of made me like them even more because I can just kind of enjoy the colors, and it's just a fun little flip through. So I don't know, I kind of really love it. And I forget about it sometimes. So then whenever I see it again, I'll pick it up and look through it, and I love it just as much as whenever I first made all these little cards because I just think it's fun. You could certainly make the little cards and give them to someone, you could even give them to a stranger or leave them at a restaurant. I think this one's really pretty. I love how the color moved in that one. But it's just a fun little book. So today we're obviously making the little cards, but if you guys want to sometimes make these books together, we can do that. Just let me know in the comments. So let's see. This is still quite wet, actually. So I hope this doesn't make a lot of noise. I don't think it will. We're gonna just dry this. It doesn't take too long to dry with the heat gun. And I'll often blow on the opposite side too, because this cotton paper is, you know, made to really take the water. It's very absorbent. I don't know if you can still hear me, honestly. Okay, that's got a great start now. All right, let's see if this guy needs a touch of... Now I'll take my pen. Here's a good pen. I'll take this pen, and I'm just going to kind of take my rough outline here. That's already dry, it should be. I just wrote all over myself. That is so funny. This has never happened with these pens. And now that I'm making a video, that is really funny. Okay, stay on task. So I'm gonna just kind of make a little rough outline here. And see how I didn't even, I've got watercolor that's outside of the lines. I've got lots of white space in some of the lines. And now I'm just gonna take this and draw a little line through it. Now we can fussy cut it. This is a horrible video. I don't know that matters though, honestly, because I can go back and maybe say that that I would do things differently, or try to like keep doing it until it looks good, or until it's like a great video, but that wouldn't be authentic, honestly, because this is honestly more of who I am and how I create. I just kind of go with the flow, and it is what it is. And I kind of need it to be that way, honestly, because that's what art has been for me, and that's what crafting has been for me. It's kind of like an out to not have to be perfect all the time. Not that I'm perfect all the time, but, you know, sometimes it's exhausting trying to just keep everything together all of the time and do a great job all of the time. And whenever you're in your studio or in your craft room, your art room, you can just go with the flow and be free. And it's okay. If you mess up, it's okay. It's just paper. It's just a little bit of pigment. And the more you do it, the more you realize that it's okay, I think. And I think that's why it's relaxing. That's why it's such a good stress relief. So you can see, I just cut this out. I drew it haphazardly. I painted it haphazardly. And I think the more that you kind of do it with that mindset, the more fun it is anyway at the end. And the better that it looks, the more fun it looks. See, that is just super simple. Now, let's see. This is pretty dry. Take a paper trimmer, if I can reach it. I'm just gonna cut this on the lines here that I drew earlier so I could stay in the quadrants. This video is all over the place, and you know what? I'm going with it. Some of you already know me, and I think that you'll know that that's just kind of me. So we'll take our black pen again that has decided to betray us. And I'm not going to try to stay inside any lines. Again, that's part of the beauty and part of the fun. Part of the freedom I think that a lot of people get with art now, even really good artists. Feel some type of, freedom of just not trying to be perfect. Now, let's see, let's take a gold and we'll do kind of like that other one had some gold on it. I think these colors are really pretty together. We can outline the whole thing again. We can outline maybe just some marks inside that just add to the charm. We'll go up the stem again. Maybe we'll put some dots. I don't know. White pens are really good to do some of this with as well. I don't know how well that's going to show up in camera, but I think you can kind of see it. Just a little illustration. And then we'll just glue it down. I like to use art glitter glue. I've got some Barely art glue. I've had it for a long time. I've never used it because I got them at the same time so that I could try them. And I love this glue so much that I've never even used the other one. Let's see, how do we want to do this? We could do it this way. I like sometimes when it's hanging off the page. This kind of looks good. I do get weird about it sometimes. I kind of don't like the stem on this one. So let's just take this line up, kind of like to that leaf, and then to this leaf. Let's see what that looks like. I kind of like that. So let's just put some glue on here. I think this is all in frame. Sometimes it's easier to use a tweezer. And we'll just put this like that. And now, beat the crap out of it like I just did. Now you have a cute little card that you can write a little message on. You can put it in your kid's lunchbox. How cool would that be to write something and put it in their lunchbox, or, I don't know, stick it in a book that your kid is reading, or your spouse even. It's just a fun little way to show somebody that you cared. And I mean, this took no time at all. And it's not like a work of art, but it sure is cute. And when it's all put together and you write something beautiful on it, that's what makes it a work of art. So anyway, I'm rambling, but I hope that you guys like this, and I hope that you like the book. And if you do, please let me know, and maybe we can make this book together sometime. Let me know what you think, and thanks for stopping by. Have a good day.